Hi, in part 3 of the video I showed you how to colour all these stickers and centre them to print your sticker sheet, but I left 3 of the sections here just plain colours. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can make your own pattern paper and then how you can do something really cool, and then using these sticker squares actually turn them into pattern stickers which you've created from your own pattern paper. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose this pink and I'm going to right click and choose copy. I'm going to come to File, New, and open a new Inkscape page. And I'm going to choose Paste. And that should paste that square into there for me. Then I'm going to come up here to the Paper Page Properties box. I'm going to make sure Page is selected and I'm going to choose A4 and Portrait and close it down because I want to print, or I may want to print on A4 paper, or when I come to use the stickers I want them on A4 paper, so I'm just for a visual thing. So I'm going to put this square here. So I want a square that's 4 by 4 and then I'm going to lock it. Now the next thing that you need to do before you do anything else, come to Edit, down to Preferences, and then in the Preferences box you may need to scroll down and you're looking for, it may be closed like this, Behaviour. Click on the plus and then you're coming down to Steps. And in here, because you've made this box 4 inches and you're working in inches, you need to select this and make sure you're on inches. It might be on pixels. So select it, keep left clicking and go to inches. And then in whatever's in this box here, you need to type 4 and that's it, and close this box down. So it's Behaviour, Steps, arrow keys move by, in inches 4, and close the box. Now I'm just going to keep this simple, and we used hearts and stars on our planner sheet, so I'm going to come over to the stars and polygons. I'm going to make sure stars selected and make sure corners is on 5, and I'm just going to drag out some stars in various sizes. And then I can resize them as I want to make them all different sizes. Now I'm going to turn this square into a piece of pattern paper, but I'm basically making it as a tile. So I'm going to make some background paper now that basically is going to be made in a tile, but you'll see as I work along. So I'm going to position my stars on this pink square in the middle and overlapping the edge. And that's why I've altered the size of them now before I do anything else. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose this big star and I'm going to position it on top of this square, and it has to be on top. So if it's behind, if it looks like this with it selected, choose this icon here, raise to top. Now anything at all that I put overhanging the edge of this square has to be duplicated and mirrored. So you've got to make sure that before you duplicate it, that where you position it is where it's going to stay. So if I decide I don't like the look of that triangle there and I want to rotate it, I can move it, a bit more round, something like this. But once I'm happy with it, I've got to select it. I've got to right click and make a duplicate, which puts the duplicate directly on the top. and then using the down arrow on my keyboard, because I want to position it opposite here, I'm going to press the down arrow, the 4 directional arrows on your keyboard. I'm going to press the down arrow once, and that's going to mirror it in its opposite position. And I can't move these now. Now I've positioned that, I've got to stick with it. If I want to move it, I'll have to get rid of this, position this one again, and then do the process again, duplicate and use the arrow. And the arrow is moving this star exactly 4 inches from this star, because that's what we set in the preferences. So hopefully it'll all become clear in a minute. So I'm now going to choose this star, and I'm going to position it on here, and I'm just going to overlap it ever so slightly, like so. Now, because it overhangs the edge again, I've got to right click and duplicate it, and I've got to mirror it. So this time I've got to use the right directional arrow. Then these smaller ones, I'm going to just randomly position on the pink. Now, anything that's within the pink, you can duplicate and move as you want and resize. So I can duplicate this one, I can resize it, and I can move it. I can copy this small one, duplicate it and drag it up here. And then I can make a copy of this one, duplicate it. Oops, I got the box then, so I'll have to put that back. I can copy this one, duplicate it. So I'm going to select this small one, right click, duplicate, and then drag it up here. Then I'm going to make another one, duplicate it, drag it over here. Anything that is within this pink area I can move and resize, but anything that overhangs the area of this box I can only duplicate opposite, if that makes sense. So I'm going to choose this smaller star, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring it down here so it overlaps the edge. And because it overlaps, I've got to create a duplicate opposite. So with it selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. Then I'm going to hit the up arrow on my keyboard, and that will put it up there. Then I think I want another one of these. I'm going to duplicate this and put this just over here. And then I'm going to get some of these smaller ones again and duplicate and just fill in. Obviously you can take more time, I'm just showing you the principle of how this works. And this is just using basic shapes. Okay, so now I'm going to left click anywhere on the page to deselect. So what I'm going to do now is choose the pink square. And with the pink square selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate, and that puts a duplicate directly on the top. So effectively we've kind of made a sandwich. We've got a pink box, we've got stars that are inside an overhang, and another pink box directly on the top. I'm now going to drag an imaginary box around everything, and once I've got everything selected, I'm going to come to Object, Clip, and Set, and that's deleted everything that overhung, and you can see that everything is all still selected as individual items. Now I'm going to go to Object and Group. Now you might be thinking that doesn't much look like a piece of pattern paper. So what we're going to do now, just going to bring it down here. So with this selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. Then I'm going to use the right arrow on my keyboard, and it's going to move it across. With this one selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate, and I'm going to use the up arrow on my keyboard. And then with this one selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate, and I'm going to use the left arrow on my keyboard. And then when I click away, you can see this line here won't print, it's just how it shows in the software. So you can see now that this all matches up perfectly. So anything that was overhanging, so this star here, matches up with the next piece. I can drag an imaginary box around all that, and I can go to Object, Group, and that has now made me a piece of paper that's 8 by 8, because obviously each one of my squares was 4 inches to start with. So the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to show you how to make some background paper using a colour from the sticker sheet. Again, I may use this same pink, and by using some PNG images. So I'm going to save this, File, Save As. I'm just going to call this Test Background. Pink stars, and I'm just going to put it on I'm saving it as an Inkscape SVG, and I'm putting it on my desktop and save. Now what I can do, I can go back to Object and Ungroup, and I can delete these boxes if I want, and just save one square. And I can resize this if I want to from here. Make sure your padlock's locked, and then you can resize it in proportion. You can do all sorts of things with it. But I'm now going to show you how to make some pattern paper to put into your sticker sheet using PNG images. So I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in the next part of the video. Thank you.